Hello and welcome to Stories with Dice, an actual play podcast of some of our favorite tabletop role-playing games.
Hi folks, welcome back to Stories with Dice actual play podcast of Tales from the Loop. I'm joined, as always, by my fellow co-host, Margot.
Hello.
And my lovely, lovely players.
Who it is?
Oh, well, maybe we should mention you I haven't mentioned you for a while, so it's Tony.
Hello. Hi.
And Douglas.
Howdy.
Unfortunately, my other player, Saul, cannot be around. And much like my last episode, I was still suffering from a bit of a cough. So hopefully, Mark will be able to edit most of that out. I'll try my best to sort of catch my lungs up away from the microphone.
I'm just gonna edit the GM out of this entire episode.
Well, sounds like a really good idea. What do you need me for in the first place? I'm out of here. Anyway, yeah, so if you could give us a thumbs up, a like, subscribe, or a follow on any of the social media stuff that you're following us on, that would be amazing. This is episode 8, and I'm going to go straight over for the update of last episode in brief.
Yeah, we started by breaching the perimeter of the factory. We made it to some stairs down to a basement level, and has astonished himself by managing to actually get past the security panel and getting into a room that seemed to have some computers or servers in. But actually, it also had some of our little Deceptor bot things who hacked us. We tried our best to fight them off, but quickly realised we're on to a losing streak and basically headed back out the way we came. We also noticed a few human characters pursuing us as we left, which was quite disconcerting as well, but we managed to make our way back to to our hideout. Yeah, poor Anthony actually got cut by one of the robots, so we patched him up and patched up our egos by telling stories of how we were going to get them next time. And then most of us being concerned about the adults seeming to be taken over by the chips implanted behind their ears, wanted to actually check on the adults that we knew, our parents and loved ones, to check that none of them had turned. So I headed off back to check on my parents. All was going well there. And Anthony went to check on his parents and tried to get his father involved. But yeah, telling a story about robots coming to life and attacking you wasn't quite received the way Anthony wanted. And Anthony lashed out at his father emotionally by mentioning the loss of his brother, which didn't go down well.
No, thank you very much. That's amazing. So we will start off this episode as the rest of you also drift off back home. I guess, Johannes, you're going to go home. Who is home when you get it?
So his mum works at home, so she'll be there. Dad works in a office, but he's never bothered asking more than that, so he'll be there. And Svetlana the dog.
It's particularly nice at home. You know, they're probably watching some Sunday late afternoon, early evening TV. Dinner's being cooked.
It's just very homely. I'll just sit down and be like, "Well, do you guys do anything? How was your day, Dad?"
Yeah, he happily tells you about his day. He was probably doing some gardening. He probably explains about some of the ways you sort of cut roses to kind of get them to rebud, and he waffles on about his enjoyment of gardening, and he throws in a few times that now you're going to be off in the Easter break. You can help in the garden as well. That'd be really nice.
Yeah, that sounds fun, Dad.
It's right. It's good to get out and just do some stuff, but you spend a lot of time outside anyway. They ask you sort of very, very briefly about your day.
Yeah.
They seem relatively engaged while they're sort of watching TV at the same time.
I'll mention it that Anthony boy was getting in trouble, whatever, because he stayed out too late last night. People were
stay away from that boy. He's bad. He's a bad influence.
You snitch.
It's just a thing that happened today. Whatnot, yeah. And then we saw a police officer, and she was like,
"What? A police officer?" They kind of
apparently his parents called the police.
They're happy to listen to your story about how one of your friends got in trouble with the police. Do you minimize what you kind of got up to in the whole thing, or you?
Yeah, it will literally just be the bit where she met us in the woods, that is
Yeah.
the only part I'm talking about where it's like,
Okay, right.
we found a police officer. She was looking for Anthony. He went and called his parents. So actually, it's not that interesting.
Fair enough. Okay, cool. Thank you very much. Then we will finish that off. Then you get home.
Yes, I guess I get home. I arrive like perhaps I did before. And my dad usually arrives just to prepare some TV dinner, sit in front of the TV and kind of, just wait for him. I will position myself so I can see well when he opens the door. Because I want to get at sneak peek on his head, see if there are any wire.
Cool. Yep. You wait alone in your cold house for your dad to get home, and he doesn't come home.
That's right. He usually comes back home. I think to myself, yes, it is late.
You wait up, and time just seems to drag on as you're waiting for him.
Yeah, now I wish I had a minute to look at his head when I was running away. That's not like him. Before going to bed, I will probably put a chair on the main door, kind of
Okay.
lock it there, wedge it, so nobody can come in. And kind of, I don't want to be, kidnapped at night by my dad, that he puts a cable on me. And I'm going to try to make sure that all the windows are closed. And if there is a back door, I will put also a chair or something. And yeah, I will even go perhaps close the door and put a kind of a complicated setup that if somebody opens the door, a glass will fall,
Sure.
make noise. I don't know, something weird like this, and kind of not panicking, but something's going on. And I kind of remember Magnus. Magnus also had this, and we didn't go to see what happened with him. And I'm feeling, worried about my dad, worried about Magnus, and thinking with that I will fall asleep, I guess.
Yep. You fall asleep. You try and fall asleep, and then you hear creaking in the house. You hear sort of like things tapping at windows. The wind picks up, and you think it's someone screaming outside. Your imagination starts to sort of like get the better of you until you eventually fall asleep from exhaustion rather than anything else. That is how you will spend your Sunday. It's Monday morning. Welcome to another fun-filled week. It is your week off. In fact, you've got 2 weeks off. What is the plan for today? What are you all kind of planning to do?
Anthony is going to try to find the nice investigator lady.
Okay.
And leave her a note.
Going to go to the police station to find her?
He will leave his house by his bedroom window.
Yeah, I guess I will, when I wake up, I will probably just undo everything I did. I will double check in any case if anybody came in, just to be sure. And I guess I'll grab something to eat and I would prepare myself a sandwich and I will just go about. I'm going to go and check. I mean, if we didn't say to meet anywhere, which I don't think we did, I'm going to go by the ice cream store, check for Magnus.
Okay.
Whenever they open.
What's Anders going to do?
I'll check in with grandfather first, check if there's any work on. If not, I will then head out to the hideout and hang around there until somebody else turns up so I can let them know the reassuring news that my parents are all right.
Sure. And what is Johannes going to do?
Yeah, probably just go to the hideouts first of all
Okay.
and see who's there.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll start with Anthony. So the police station is on the water side of Stenhamra. If you look at the map, in the center of town is the pizza shop, the ice cream shop, which is opposite your school. If you follow the road down towards the coast, you will come to the toy shop. There's a crossroads there. And then if you continue on down that same road, you'll find the police station. There's a bunch of police cars in the lot in front. There's a little 2-story building. It's not particularly big, and it kind of services the most of the island. Yeah. What is the plan?
Yeah, so I'm just gonna waltz right into the front door, go to the desk, and ask if the inspector is in.
Okay. Yeah. You go and ask. The desk sergeant says, "I think she's in. Let me just check for you. Who should I say is calling, young sir?"
Anthony.
She gets on the phone, and about 5 minutes later, Ingmarie comes out and she says, "Yeah, please come this way."
Is she wearing her hat?
She's not wearing a hat. She's in her uniform, and she buzzes you through and takes you back behind where all the other police officers are. And she walks you up the stairs through a bunch of sort of like desks, which are all sort of with various people sort of like doing various police related stuff. Some of them in uniform, some of them outside of uniform. And she takes you to a corner of an open office, and she sits you down. She sits on the other side of the desk and says, "Hello, Anthony. How are you this morning?"
Can you just show me the back of your head, please?
Says yes. She smiles and she shows you the back of her head. And then she shows you the other side of her head, so you can see both behind both ears.
Have you ever seen Star Wars?
I have.
Remember that message that Princess Leia gave to old Ben Kenobi?
Yes.
Well, this is that message, Inspector. You're our only hope. Nobody believes us. My dad doesn't believe me. My mom doesn't believe me. Nobody believes us. Sven's father tried to attack him with a pipe. There's something wrong in this town, and it has to do with that factory and those toys. You have to check it out. One of your own police officers is like in on it.
Really?
Yeah.
Which police officer?
I have no idea what his name is. What you have to do is look behind their ear. Magnus has been like operated on. Grab him. Check him out.
She picks up like a little notebook and she starts writing some stuff down that you're saying. Okay. Who else has been taken?
Just know Sven's father and Magnus from the ice cream shop.
What about anybody else's dad? Don't know.
I don't know. I have to talk to my friends. I haven't seen them yet this morning.
Okay.
But you have to go to that factory. You have to go to the toy store where they're selling these toys. There's these little transformable robots. They're real. They're attacking people. I got cut on my leg by one.
She says, "Stand up, show me."
So I pull up my pant leg and I show her the bandage, my bandaged leg, shin,
She
or
says,
whatever.
"May I?" And she says, she kind of like goes to take the sort of like the little bandage off.
Sure.
She has looked at it and then puts it back together, bandages back up. She says, "Okay."
Look, I know I'm a kid, and I know
Who else knows about it?
friends.
Which friends?
Are you going to get them in trouble, or are you going to help us?
Well, I need to listen first. Once I understand what's going on, then I can help you.
Ben, Anders, Johannes, and Susie. We haven't even seen Susie in like, I don't know, what, the day? Something happened to her. She was supposed to meet us yesterday.
You see her, she basically pulls a file from her desk and it's got a picture of Sven on. Yes, Well, there's a couple of other pages with the other friends' names on that you've mentioned, but they don't seem to be in any trouble. Looks like Sven's actually got like a bit of a rap sheet going on there. But the rest seem like they're just names. She says, "Okay. Susie, yes, I saw Susie yesterday. Well, we can make sure she's okay. I'll tell you what we can do. Why don't we speak to your friends? And then maybe we can go and have a look at that toy shop."
What you really have to do is go to the factory.
Okay. Now, the toy shop we can probably go and have a look at, because right now we don't need any special permission to go there. We can just go and have a look around. The factory, on the other hand, is going to require a little bit more paperwork to do. That might take a few days. So I just thought we'd kind of do that first. Does that make sense? Are you happy with that?
It makes no sense, but adults don't make any sense ever.
She smiles. She says, "Can you get in touch with your friends? And maybe we can meet somewhere."
Sure. We can meet at the toy store in like, let's say, an hour.
She looks at her watch. She says, "How about we make it about 2 hours? I've got some other things to do."
Okay.
Yeah, I'll come and meet you there. But don't go in. We'll go in together and we'll talk to the people in the... She looks at you and says, "Do I need to worry about the people in the toy shop? Are they also going to be a problem?"
I have no idea.
Well, we can find that out, can't we? And I'll see if I can find out about Magnus and Sven's dad as well. Okay? Now, I'll see you out. And then if we go through here, if you see the other police officer, point him out to me when we leave, okay? But
Okay.
don't make it obvious.
Okay.
She basically takes you through the police station. You don't see him at the police station at all. And then she takes you out the front and says she'll be in touch.
Okay. And then I tell her, like, I didn't see him, but whoever didn't come into work today, that's probably him.
Okay. Well, I'll have a look and find out.
Okay. So I'll get back on my bike, and if I don't see anyone at the ice cream shop, I'll probably head over to the hideout.
Okay. It sounds like the rest of you are pretty much going to be going to the hideout, apart from, well, Sven, I guess you're going to go and see. You swing past the ice cream shop, but you don't see Magnus.
Can I go in and ask?
Yeah, you go in. It's the older guy, Matthias. And he says, "Hey, Sven,
How are you doing?
I'm okay. You don't have the police after you today, then?"
No, it's okay today. Like that.
He laughs as well. He says, "Oh, what can I do for you today, Sven?"
Actually, I was looking for Magnus and I was hoping to talk to him today.
He rolls his eyes and says, "Magnus hasn't turned up for work again."
Oh my God. Yeah. Now what's going on with Magnus lately?
No, I don't know either.
Anyhow, would you tell him that I'm looking for him if he comes back?
Sure, will do. I mean, you'll probably see him before I do, Sven.
Perhaps. Thanks so much.
That's okay.
I'm super mega worried now. And I got to the hideout.
So you all kind of meet up at the hideout. You probably get there just before Anthony turns up.
I'm guessing I'm going to be the last one arriving, perhaps?
Yeah, you'd be the last one. That makes sense.
I will arrive and I'm kind of, running up the stairs. I've been, keeping my panic at bay. But once I get to the hideout, I'm just running up the stairs to the specific, to this office that we have. And, it's metallics. And I'm like, clang, 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 going all the way up. And I open very, like with all my
So
strength. The
dramatically,
door.
you open the door.
Yeah.
When you do that, what is Johannes and Anders doing?
We're just faffing around until the door suddenly dramatically slams open and we get a heart attack.
Yeah, just sorting out tools and things.
And I suppose that maybe Anthony might have just been putting down his rucksack. The door bursts open.
Yeah, and I say, Sven, did you see your dad?
I've been dead worried since yesterday night. Definitely there is something going on. Very bad, very bad. He did not come back home. I was freaking out. Not that, I'm not that I'm a coward, you know that, right? But, I cannot believe it. I feel like responsible. I should have checked on his head before running. This is not like me. I don't know what to do. What can I do?
Well, I got his help, guys. So the inspector at the police station, I checked her out. She's totally okay, but she's going to look into this and we're going to meet her at the toy store.
Does she know about the cyborg?
I told her everything, yeah.
Told her everything for crying out loud.
What are you, 10? You cannot tell the whole truth to the grown-ups.
Now if they get her, they'll know everything that we know. They know that we know. They know. And he sort of like tries to, you can see him mentally going the logic of they will know that we know that she knows that we know.
Well, we had to get help. Stuff wasn't working. We were getting hurt. Sven's dad is one of them now.
Maybe he got a new job and he was doing some overtime.
Yeah, new job, beating his son with a pipe.
What? He never beat me. What are you saying?
He chased us with a pipe. What do you think he was going to do with it, Sven? Come on, I'm 10 and even I know what that meant.
Anthony, how were your parents when you went home?
Oh, they were useless as usual.
They were that mad then.
They didn't believe me.
So you're telling me that now I have to wait until this police woman comes? There's nothing we are going to be doing about this?
We needed someone, an adult, in our corner. We needed our own Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
You never saw Star Wars?
Yeah.
Somebody check Johannes. I think he's a cyborg.
Yeah, I don't know about this movie either. Must be something weird. Yeah.
Sounds
whatever.
pretty generic. Must be one of these budget B movies or something.
Yeah.
Come on, Anders. You saw Star Wars, right? Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, the kids liked it.
Kids, and your kid.
Well, yeah, I watch more grown-up films more now, kind of thing.
Like what, like horror movies?
Yeah. My brother got a video of The Exorcist. It's quite scary.
Can we get back to the topic? We have to meet the inspector in front of the toy store in like an hour and a half.
Oh, what's going to happen if we don't do it? Is she going to arrest us?
Are we sure about her, Anthony?
I checked her out. She's totally fine.
Like, what do we know about her?
She's nice, and she's not a cyborg. And she listened to me without...
Well, my dad's pretty nice, but I'm not going to take all this to him.
Yeah, well...
To be fair, he wouldn't be that helpful either. really cares more about his roses than that sort of thing.
Your dad grows roses?
Yes, have you never seen the garden? It's very nice. So I'm told. They're colorful.
My mom grows roses.
Well, you know, man needs his hobbies, so he said, keeps telling me.
Right, well, fine. Let's try your idea. I mean, I have no other ideas, so why not? But you do the talking.
Has anyone seen Susie?
No, she hasn't turned up here this morning. I think she's just, whatchamacallit, chickened out. Obviously, this got too intense for her, and she just went back to doing whatever girls do.
I wish I had a whatchamacallit right now.
Mm-hmm.
What, you guys never had a whatchamacallit bar before?
What?
Sweden sucks.
Well, I'm quite partial to the fruit fishes. They're very nice.
Right. So, do you want to go and try and check on Susie, or are you going to go see the police officer first?
Can I do something before we go to the police officer?
Sure.
Can I go and ask around people I know and that sort of thing about this police officer to make sure she is on the level? Because Anthony doesn't give me much confidence. Who would be my contacts? Who would be the people who, kids-wise, the kids who are getting into trouble would be the ones who know the police officers.
It's Monday morning, so,
They hang out somewhere, like gang.
hang out somewhere. It's not like they're bad. Probably in the same way that Sven is bad, in that kind of, they think they're the hard nuts of the school.
But we've done business before, I've heard them things and they've given me things that I'd maybe not ask questions where they came from.
You probably have to cycle to a payphone or to, if you think you probably know where they'll probably hang out, you could probably do that via going to the toy shop to meet with the police officer.
Well, who wants to come with Johannes to go meet the bad boys? I'll go direct deal face to face, in case, the phones are being tapped or something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
But better to do all sort of business and face to face. The personable approach is what it says in the book. Eye contact and all that.
All right, then. The rest of you, are you just going to wait till the allotted time, go and see the police officer?
No, I will go with Johannes.
Okay. What is Anders going to do?
Yeah, I'll probably tag along. I'm not over sure about this police officer yet. I certainly don't want to be seen meeting up with a police officer if I can help it.
So that means you're the odd one out, Anthony.
Anthony will go to Susie's house.
Okay, that makes sense.
We've written her off. She's dead.
Okay, right. You three wander off to go and see Hans, Ovid, and Victor. They are all they're at the back behind the ice cream shop. They are currently have lined up a bunch of old cans, and they've got some catapults, and they're sort of shooting at the old cans with catapults, sort of in the back of the parking lot and where they would have deliveries. So yeah, you walk around there. Again, it's a cool, breezy morning, but it's sunnyish. They kind of look at you. They seem to acknowledge Sven in the same way that some bullies acknowledge other bullies, and they kind of nod their heads, and everyone kind of suddenly changes tack from being, a bunch of friends to sort of I need to kind of walk the walk and sort of puff my chest out a little bit more. And Victor, who is the de facto leader of the three, goes, Sven, what's up?
Not much.
Yeah, not much here either.
Is Johannes doing anything or no?
Would you like me to take over negotiation?
Yeah, why not? I have your back.
Yeah, they know Johannes and they know Anders.
They bought stuff maybe from me at some point.
Yo, Joe.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Got a question to ask you. And you seem to be the people to ask. We've got one of those police ladies breathing down her neck.
All right.
The young guy, Anthony, we run with, the wee one, nerdy.
Yeah, they look at them and go, no idea who he is.
Anyway, not important. He's getting harassed by one of the policewomen for some reason. I don't know. She's got in for him. We're just wanting to know if you've ever had any run-ins with her. I'll say, do I know what her name is?
You know her name?
I must have mentioned it to everyone.
Yeah. You know her name. Inspector Ingmarie.
Yeah, Ingmarie, blonde, ponytail, I think.
Victor comes over. Well, he gets closer to you. He goes, all right, we might know something. What's it worth to you?
Well, I don't know. What do you want?
What's it worth to me? Got any krona? He starts like patting down your pocket.
Boy, that's not the way to carry negotiations.
The other two kind of like step slightly forward.
And I also step forward and say, hey, guy, chill. We're just exchanging information here. One day for you, one day for me. Take it easy.
Wait.
Just answer, my friend, please.
They kind of like, you're not telling us what to do.
No, I'm just saying this is a fair exchange. One day for you, one day for me. And you probably will need us at some point.
I see. Right. Well, what's the, well, tell you what, why don't you, Sven, why don't you go and get us some ice cream? Seems like a fair exchange. I'll have mint. The other one says, I'll have vanilla.
Yeah, I'm like, fine, but you owe me one.
Sure. As soon as Sven goes out of sight, they basically come back over and get in your face between you and the Henderson again. Right. Okay. What do you want to know? What's Johannes going to do now that Sven's out of the picture?
Well, he's going to try and keep us cool and keep this sort of like as pleasant as possible.
Yep. Okay.
With trying to, try not to give anything away, give away the crown jewels or whatever, but, keep the negotiations going until Sven can come back to save him from getting killed. Unless Anders is going to be doing anything to help the situation.
Tell you what, make a charm roll. Use your charm.
2 successes.
Okay, yes, absolutely. They start to kind of get you kind of get the vibe of how they're acting, and you kind of start to mirror their response. You've read it once in the book.
Yeah.
And you're generally an affable kid. So yeah, you kind of like start talking the talk a little bit. When you kind of mention Ingmarie, they laugh a little bit and say, yeah, she's relatively new. She's a bit of a pushover. She spends a lot of time out on the lake. You can see her. I think she's like a bit of a nerd. She spends a lot of her time looking for fish or birds or something. She's always out with her binoculars and stuff. But she seems very nice. She's always the person to let you off. Yeah. You can pretty much get away with anything with her.
Can I verbally describe the other police officer that was in the ice cream parlor the other day? Be like, oh, there was another guy.
Yes, Officer Vikstrom. Yes, he's a different kind of police officer.
Yeah. Well, don't tell him when he was going the other day when he was I kind of stuck my feet out and caused him to fall into the bikes.
They laugh and put their hands up to sort of like high five you.
I will take the high five.
Yeah, so Sven basically comes back with some ice cream and you exchange information. Yeah, she seems to be on the level. She seems sort of like one of those cops who likes to help with kindness as opposed to sort of like a strong arm. And sort of like in the sort of like 80s, it's, a bit more of a strong arm is sort of like the type of policing that some officers will do. She seems to be of a new kind of breed of officer, kind of like coming in with psychology and stuff.
While is the other one of the old school variety.
He's of the old school variety.
They've seen him around recently, or did they?
They haven't seen him around. His local beat is actually Stanhammer, so he would normally be found wandering around this area. But they don't have any more information to give you, and we'll leave it there with you guys. So, Anthony, make your way to Susie's place. There's no one home. Susie's not there. Neither her parents.
Take out my backpack, rip out a piece of paper from my notepad, grab a pen, and I say, I leave a note that says, "Hi, Susie. I hope you're okay. You didn't show up the other day, and we're worried. Your friend, Anthony." And then I'll slip it under the door if I can, or put it in a mailbox or what have you.
Yep. Yeah, you can just slide it under the door. It's the car's missing as well. So yeah, no one seems to be out.
And there are no other cars like in the garage or anything?
Not that you can see the garage. In fact, we'll say that her garage is like a lean-to sort of like garage, so you can actually see into it. Yeah, there's nothing there.
All right. I'll head back in the other direction, back toward where the toy store is. So hopefully the guys are there on time to meet the nice police lady whose name I can never remember.
When you all get there, you see a police car. In fact, you don't see a police car. Marie would have walked because it's not that far from the police station. But you see her standing outside, and you all kind of like conveniently kind of meet up roughly at the same sort of time. In fact, Anthony kind of meets you all as you're coming down from the central part of town. You'll see her sort of like waiting outside in her blue uniform.
Hey, Hey guys, this is the inspector I was telling you about. She's gonna help us and look into all these weird things going on.
He smiles at you all and says, hello again.
And I'm like, this is Sven, and that's Anders. He's like Luke Skywalker from Star Wars, and that's Johannes. He's like, I guess you'd say he's like a Ferengi. I don't know. He likes to talk about money. He likes to talk about money and business all the time.
Johannes is not sure if to be offended or not.
Okay. She takes your hand in each and sort of like shakes it. Probably not with Sven, I imagine. Sven and the police probably have a checkered past. She says, okay, so my friend Anthony has told me what's happened. So we want to find out what's going on, right? And last time you said you were here, you said that something had happened in the back in the storage area.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you can show me. And she says, okay, come on then. She opens the door and she walks into the toy shop. The toy shop is packed with loads of toys, like floor to ceiling. The cashier's desk is right next to the big windows. There's loads of little shelves. And at the back, you've got the door that goes into the storage room. You can see the owners basically staring at the police officer and you lot. Henrik is one of the owners. He says, goodness, what have they done now? She says, no. I understand that you might have had a break-in or something. They look at you all and go, oh, it's these kids. Yes. They tried to get in the back area, but we chased them out. They said it was like that originally. So I thought I'd just come and have a little look. Do you mind if I go out the back? Henrik looks over to his wife and, no, ma'am, please help yourself. She says, okay. And she makes her way towards the back. She says, come on now, show me what you saw. Kind of like gets you to sort of like follow her.
I'll stay here and have a nice chat with the Leesons. We have some business to do. Secretly, it's going to be just keeping an eye on them to make sure.
Yeah, they kind of look at you like...
Well, we're friends, because I think I've got a relationship with them.
You have, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Annette sort of like goes, she smiles. They've kind of like taken a liking to you just because it's kind of a bit of a sweet thing that you want to kind of, you might have wanted to kind of do some like work experience or something here, looking after a business, that kind of thing. So that leaves Anders, Sven, and Anthony to go out the back with the police officer. So she takes you out and back into the storage room. There was a storage room and an office. Clearly, it's a little bit messy, but nothing massively. There does not appear to be the same level of trashed toys in here. And she says, right, okay.
I mean, it was a couple of days ago, and we didn't do anything wrong. We just peeked into the back and the place was a mess. And we overheard them talking that like some of the toys were missing or something. And we noticed that one set of toys were broken and the other set, there were a bunch of them that were missing. And it was like they were fighting each other or something.
He looks over at Anders and at Sven to sort of go, can you confirm this?
Yeah. Yeah, Anders definitely doesn't. He just sort of looks disinterested and blank. He's not confirming one way or another.
She has a wander into the office and you can see that she's poking around on the desk and just generally having a bit of a look without doing too much rummaging. And she goes to sort of like the back door, unlocks the back door and opens that to a loading dock. Just on the outside of the loading dock, there's a load of those large skip kind of bins. And she kind of has a little look around and she sort of opens up one of the bins with her foot, and inside you can see a whole load of the toy boxes. They're all broken open, as well as a bunch of cardboard and various other things being thrown out the back. It makes a lot of noises as she kind of like rifles through some odd bits and pieces. And she says, are these the boxes to you three?
I don't know, maybe.
Definitely those are boxes for the robot.
I mean, why would they throw them away though? If they like got damaged in like shipping or whatever, like wouldn't they want their money back from the place they bought them from?
Do you think so?
Why don't you ask the owners about all this? I mean, I thought policemen would do that. Just ask.
Police person.
Sorry.
She says, well, first of all, you have to have a look, don't you? Before you ask the questions. Walks up and down the loading docks. You're pretty much standing there as you're watching her do all this sort of thing. She looks like she's doing policey type things. She's definitely not jumping over all red cars, drawing guns, or anything that you kind of associate with doing police work, inverted commas. And she seems to just be sort of like poking her nose into some stuff. She doesn't really even touch much things. She just kind of like looks at things. And then she just sort of like, Then she gets back up on the loading dock. Says, okay, we can go out the front now. And she sort of like hustles you all back in, locks the back door, and then takes you back into the store. You can see Johannes and his two business partners having a chat at the cashier's desk.
Can I ask about something before they come back?
Sure, absolutely.
I'll ask if Dr. Yonker was the woman who was with the special guest?
Uli Yonker.
Did she ever turn up in the end?
She did not. She tried contacting her and she has not heard from her at all. And they've also tried to contact Helena Voss, who is the actual engineer for it, whereas Ulla is the sort of like creative director, as it were. No. We went round to her house just up by, and they give you the address, like on the road, but there was no one home.
Do you think maybe she was at the factory? I think they're set up in that, and I'll say where the other factory.
Hey, no, that's where we get our deliveries from. Yeah, no, we know that. That's where Helena would normally work from, but we haven't heard from either of them. So we're really annoyed that they didn't turn up, but it's gone quite well. And they basically she talks about some of the figures and stuff that they've done, just in very broad strokes. Yeah, and the police officer comes back and she says, okay, well, if you don't want to just wait outside, I'll speak to the two here and then I'll be outside in a minute.
Okay, just make sure you ask her about the people who made the toys and why they disappeared.
She says, oh, okay, off you go. She basically hustles you out the door. And then she goes and speaks to the two owners. You can see through the window, they're obviously having a bit of a conversation. She sort of like talks to them about some stuff. There's some gesticulation and stuff. But you guys are outside. What are you going to do?
Well, I'm going to say that I got the address. That policeman was useless. I'm already 5 steps ahead of her. That's how you make it in business.
Yeah, Anders is going to press his ear up against the front window and cup his hand over his other ear to see if he can actually hear anything of the conversation.
What about the rest of you?
Yeah, I'm look pissed.
I think we should just head over, get started, show the initiative to this policewoman, continue the investigation. She seems busy speaking to my business associates. They'll talk her ear off.
Johannes, she did notice that all those broken toys and boxes that were open were in the garbage out back. Like, why would they throw it away if they arrived damaged? Wouldn't they want proof to get them so that they can get their money back?
I believe that's called he grabs his book and he flicks through it. And it's like a tax write-off. They do that sometimes in business so they don't have to pay so much money to the government.
I don't even know what that means.
It's a standard business practice.
We should wait for her to come back out before we go anywhere. Just to be nice.
Just to be told that she didn't solve the problem.
When you listen at us, when you're kind of like, Julia, like really up the close thing, she's speaking to them and asking them about what's happened to the people that were doing it. She asks about the factory. She asks if anyone strange has come in. She asks whether she's seen anyone who's had any kind of head injuries. She asks why the boxes were thrown away. She asks about 500 items, but 50 of them were damaged. The responses are sort of like met with like, oh, how do you know that? And all this kind of stuff. And they basically, they're having a proper conversation around. So she's asking sort of like pertinent questionings. And she kind of comes back out after a short while and says, okay, right. Well, it seems that she says that the owners think that someone broke into the back and stole 50 of those machines. But I don't know, it looks suspicious. I'm not of any kind of forensic background, but it looks like the boxes were broken out, which makes sense if you say that the toys came alive. It looks like the person who created them and the engineer have mysteriously gone missing as well. So I think you're onto something, she says to Anthony.
I'm very proud of myself at this moment. Anthony's got his arms folded across his chest and he's beaming from ear to ear.
When you grow up, maybe you should think about getting a job in the police.
Maybe I will.
Says, now, my boss is not going to go for this. So I'm going to have to do it in my own time for you, which I can do this evening. And I can see if I can go and speak to the people in the factory as well. But I'll try and see if I can get hold of Fuller and Helena which I can do this evening when I'm done with work. You guys just need to stay out of trouble. Whatever you do, don't go back to the factory and just keep a low profile.
Don't forget about Susie. I went to her house and it was all locked up and the cars were gone.
So I've spoken to Susie and her mum. They have gone to the head office of Rick's Energy because they were concerned that someone was harassing Susie from the energy company. And so they've gone off to go and speak with them. I've kind of phoned ahead so that they're aware of that. But they're going to be gone for probably the rest of the afternoon. Well, they'll probably be back a bit later on. So just in time for you to catch up and try and stay out of more trouble. You kids just take care, okay? If you need anything, she takes out like a little card, goes directly to my desk. It's got an answer machine. So if you don't pick up, just leave me a message, okay?
Right.
She walks off, leaving you all, leaving Anthony very smug and you all standing outside of the toy shop. I assume you are going to completely ignore her and wander off to go and get into some more trouble.
I would like to quote from my book by the J.K. Chesterton, which is, I owe my success to having listened respectfully to the very best advice and then going away and doing the exact opposite.
And I think that seems like a perfectly good place to end this episode. Thank you very much for listening, and hopefully we'll see what happens to everyone in the next episode.
And I hope you feel better, Ed. Thank you
very much.
Thanks for hanging in there.